Hello, welcome back to my YouTube channel. For those of you that have been checking out the news section, I'm kind of exploring with the homebrew race builds. What I have for you today is something I'm kind of exploring from such things that you may have seen, like World of Warcraft, their Undead race that you can play. Maybe something more towards, say, Ghoul, as featured in the Fallout games. So, kind of going with that theme, I noticed when I started statting this out and kind of getting all the racial points together, this is looking like it could be a standard or advanced power level for the race. So I'm going to call them Half-Life, since they're kind of in between one state to another. And for the type, I went with Half-Undead. It's 5 racial points. If you want to embrace more of the undead nature, you go up the full undead, which is 16 points. You're likely going into the higher category, or the highest I should say, similar to the construct racial point level that I showcased in a previous video. So it just depends on how much of an embrace to the undead that you want to go towards. I went with the Half-Undead, so it's 5 racial points, and with them, the Half-Undead races are strange or unholy fusions of the living and the undead. And they gain the following features: Dark Vision 60 feet as a racial trait. They also gain a +2 racial bonus on saving throws against disease and mind-affecting effects. They take no penalties from energy draining effects, though they can still be killed if they occur more negative levels than they have hit dice. After 24 hours, any negative levels they've gained are removed without any additional saving throws. They are also harmed by positive energy and healed by negative energy. A half-undead creature with a fast healing special quality still benefits from that quality. So, that's not looking so bad as far as not approaching the realm of the overpowered. As far as the size, I went with medium for their speed. If you want to kind of show more of a lethargic, rigor mortis sort of breaking of the limbs as they move, you can go slow speed. Base speed, I went with, base speed was normal. Size, medium. Ability score modifiers, I went with the standard. So that was +2 to strength, +2 to wisdom, and -2 to charisma. The strength due to their supernatural strength, where pain is not much of a problem for them since they've experienced the ultimate pain upon their death. Maybe they don't feel as much with their with the state of whatever decay that they've undergone. The wisdom, of course, would be they would retain some of their visions, memories of their past life. The charisma, negative on that, of course, obviously their parents, whether you wish to make it more of a ghoulish look, similar to Fallout, more of a ghostly visage, or sort of embrace more of that zombie look, where flesh is rotten and falling off. So it just depends what kind of how strong of a theme you want to bring that out. So really, right now, all we're looking at is just the 5 points so far. Languages, Xenophobic, due to their sort of memory loss or lack of emotions and stuff. They probably wouldn't retain a whole lot of languages that they may have learned, but given, they could have a high intelligence if you go with more of a caster class, and they could kind of remember some of those. But I thought the Xenophobic kind of fit versus the standard. Maybe they don't even know what kind of race they were back in their former life. So, racial traits. Senses, racial traits, I went with the dark vision since that was already given under the subtype for Half-Undead. There would be no cost on this since it's already given. Weakness, racial traits, I went with negative energy affinity. It's on page 237. That was part of the subtype as well that was listed. So I was able just to take it right out of this race builder from Pathfinder's Advanced Race Guide. And with the negative energy affinity, as you heard, they're alive, but they react to positive and negative energy inversely. So there's no weighted cost for that since it's already included in the subtype. On to defense racial traits. Resist level drain. That's on 223. That was already listed in their subtype as well, so this is quite an easy one so far. They take no penalty from energy draining effects. The member can still be killed. Any levels a member of this race has accrued, or removed without the need for any additional saving throws. The next one, under the defense, I went with sleep immunity. Kind of similar to the elven immunity stuff, but I didn't really see anything else what I was looking for, so I homebrewed this racial trait option where I gave it a weighted cost of 2. And what the sleep immunity is, rather than sleep, half-life enter a meditative state known as trance. They are fully aware of their surroundings while in this state. In addition, half-lives are immune to magic sleep effects. So that's what I went with for the homebrew version. So it's similar to the elven immunities on page 222. With the offense racial traits, I created my own, homebrewed it, gave it a cost of 3 points, and what it is, they can use part of their soul, draw it into their natural attacks or any weapon that they hold in their hands to gain the Ghost Touch special ability for a number of rounds a day equal to their charisma modifier. And one other homebrew version I added, which you can give a cost of 2 or 1 for the points there, where given the nature of how they look, they can probably blend in a lot easily amongst the undead, more so with the unintelligent undead, where they are not detected. They don't detect them as alive, so unless the half-life attacks them, they fear no sort of recourse of action or threat from them. The half-life gains a +4 racial bonus to bluff and disguise checks against intelligent undead to appear as a mindless undead. That's pretty much it for just the basic build there. So we're looking at around 14 racial points to 12 to even as low as 8, depending on what things you want to take off. So you can already see that the costs is quite nice to go with other things. Their category is similar to Azamar, Tieflin. You can take off a few things or just one thing and bring them down to the same kind of power level with dwarves and elves and such. If you wanted to modify the Undead Resistance, which was given on page 224, which I selected, which I already gain under that subtype. I would like to modify that and add poison as another resistance as well. And you could either give that a cost of 1 racial point or 2 racial points. So, given that the nature of their bodies, they would be able to probably resist those toxins and such. You can add more things on there if you want them to be immune to, or have some sort of resistances to maybe other things, depending on what you want to embrace with that undead aspect. You can even use some alternate racial traits as featured in the Pathfinder races. One or a couple things I liked that I saw from numerous different things, using some of the traits I've seen already, and more importantly with the third-party publishing traits. I came across one I liked. It's called Dead by Dawn. If any of you Evil Dead people can pick up on that. The half-life gains a +1 hit point per level at night. These hit points fade away at dawn's first light. So if you want, you can replace that trait with the ability to draw upon a ghost weapon. And it's kind of nice. It also kind of brings about maybe a added boost to maybe a tough fight, a tough encounter, maybe that long dungeon, but also kind of brings a little bit of excitement to that notion, just given that, Dead by Dawn, if you're already pretty below your hit points and relying on those additional points given to you by the darkest of night, you can see if dawn hits that you would be pretty racked there, given whatever scenario you found yourselves in. Another one I saw, like a necro leech or necro theft, you can call it if you want. As a full round action, the half-life may make a touch attack against an undead creature. If successful, and the target possesses fewer hit dice than the half-life may imitate one of the target's supernatural abilities. It may use the stolen power once, and if not used within 24 hours, it fades away. Any saves required for the ability use the half-life's total hit dice, plus the half-life's charisma modifier to calculate the DC saving throw. The half-life takes 1d4 points of negative energy damage per hit die of the targeted undead when it uses this particular ability. You can use that to replace the Ghost Touch weapon property. So there's a lot of different things you can do. Just depends on how powerful, how much of a embrace to that undead theme you want to make it. As far as sort of like a storytelling of a background to this half-life, perhaps think of a sort of grizzled samurai who was denied his honored end, or a glorious battle, maybe through some sort of situation that happened with that person, through a great amount of honor that was not given to him, or inversely dishonor that maybe he had gone through himself or suffered. Maybe the rules of death did not apply, and the anger was too strong that it brought him back into this world. Something like that is similar with many Japanese horror films. What else could you do? Perhaps a Protean was on the River of Souls or Paths of Souls and came across yours, and for whatever unknown design took yours away and denied you from the Lady of Graves' judgment, denying you your passage to the Pharasma. and you found yourself back on the prime material plane. So there's a lot of different things that you can do. Reflections and visions of your former life, some sort of need of revenge upon whoever killed you. So there's a lot of different things that you can do. Those are just some that I can think of just off the top of my head right now. But I hope this was inspirational, or perhaps just a big help. So I will feature some more videos later on as I get to them. Just going with things that inspire me, things that interest me, that I may want to dig into, and perhaps give an option to those in my campaign world. So with that, thank you for spending what little time you could here to investigate this. I hope I've given you enough time to not spend any time in building this, and perhaps making a quick build if this is something you intend for your game as well, or if your GM will allow it. So thank you for your time.